Good morning, English 10R. Hey, listen, it is 10 o'clock, which is basically our class time. So good morning from my kitchen. So for today, I'm going to do the reading that has work that's due tomorrow, and hopefully this will help you. So last time we met, we found out that Caesar was stabbed 23 times, but what really killed him is the betrayal from Brutus. So if we pick up on page 47, from line 86, Cinna, after they stab him 23 times, and you can imagine that they'll be covered in blood, it's a messy deed. Cinna says, "Liberty, freedom, tyranny is dead. Run hence, proclaim, cry about the streets." So he actually instructs all the conspirators, hey guys, let's run out into the streets and say liberty and cry that tyranny is dead. And Cassius says, some to the common pulpits and cry out liberty, freedom, enfranchisement. So are you thinking that that's not such a good idea? Because I'm thinking if this happened in Sayville, for example, if a leader got stabbed 23 times and the people who did the deed were covered in blood, if they ran out into Main Street with their arms in the air crying, liberty, freedom, tyranny is dead, what would the reaction of people in the shops do? People in the town. They would be shocked, they would be frightened, and we can tell that from line 90 when Brutus says, people and senators, be not affrighted, fly not, stand still, ambition's debt is paid. So just the concept that they want to run out and scream, that shows how idealistic they are to believe that all the Romans will know why they killed Caesar and immediately celebrate that act. Cassius says, go to the pulpit, Brutus. Decius says, and Cassius too. And Brutus says, where's Publius? Now, Publius is not part of the conspiracy. And Cinna says, here, quite confounded with this mutiny, meaning that he's confused, he's overwhelmed. And Metellus says, stand fast together, lest some friend of Caesar should chance. Brutus says, talk not of standing, Publius. Good cheer, there's no harm intended to your person, nor to no Roman else. So he's saying, listen, Publius, don't be scared. We don't intend to hurt any other Roman. He says, go tell them, Publius, please, go tell the crowd that they shouldn't be scared of us. Cassius says, and leave us, Publius, lest the people rushing on us should do your age some mischief. Meaning that all the people rushing, all the chaos that has been created from this, that Publius, being an old man, might be overrun. Brutus says, do so, and let no man abide this deed, but we the doers. So Trebonius re-enters, we're at line 105, and now we just have the conspirators. And Cassius says, well, where's Antony? And why would we want to know where Antony is? Well, we know that he was led away in the beginning of the scene, and we also know that he's Caesar's right-hand man. If we go all the way back to Act 1, we'll remember that Antony said, when Caesar says do this, it is performed. So they're afraid of Antony, or at least wondering where he is. Trebonius said, fled to his house amazed. Men, wives, and children stare, cry out, and run as if it were doomsday. And Brutus says, fates, we will know our pleasures. That we shall die, we know. 'Tis but the time and drawing days out that men stand upon. Cassius says, why, he that cuts off 20 years of life cuts off so many years of fearing death. Now, if you could bracket off those lines, what Cassius means is, why, that he that cuts off 20 years of life cuts off so many years of fearing death. I could cut off Caesar's 20 years of life. He killed him early. But what he's saying is he saved them 20 years of fearing, of living in fear from Caesar. Brutus turns around and we'll see his big idealistic personality here, and he says, grant them, and that death is a benefit. He's saying, we did a good thing. Killing him was a good thing. So are we Caesar's friends that have abridged his time of fearing death. So we were good to Caesar in killing him. That way he wouldn't have to live his life fearing death. We've abridged his time. We've shortened his time. So then he gives instructions, and I want you to remember back to Calpurnia's dream because there's an interesting connection here. He says, Romans, stoop, and let us bathe our hands in Caesar's blood up to the elbows and besmear our swords. Then we walk forth even to the marketplace, and waving our red weapons over our head, let's cry peace, freedom, and liberty. That's nuts. He actually wants them to bend down, take Caesar's blood from his body, smear it all over their hands, smear it on their swords, then go out into the middle, Main Street Sayville, with their swords and say, peace, freedom. How is that idealistic then? Well, it's idealistic to believe that people would understand why they killed Caesar and why Caesar needed to die. So Cassius says, stoop then and wash. How many ages hence shall this our lofty scene be acted over in states unborn and accents yet unknown? And what he means is, what are unborn states? It means countries that haven't even been discovered yet. He says, our act will be acted over. He says that he and the conspirators did such an amazing thing that in the far future, there'll be new countries and new peoples who will be inspired to act the same way as them. Brutus says, how many times shall Caesar bleed in sport that now Pompey's basis lies alone no worthiest than the dust? Cassius says, so oft that it shall be often shall the not of us be called the men that gave their country liberty. He's saying we will be known as the men who gave their country freedom. So Decius says, what, shall we forth? Aye, and every man away. Brutus shall lead, and we will grace his heels with the most boldest and best hearts of Rome. But look at the stage direction. Interesting, a servant enters. So let's look at his lines. We're on line 135. Brutus says, soft. Who comes here? A friend of Antony's. Why would Antony send a servant? And why wouldn't he show up himself? Could he feel that he would be in danger? So the servant says, thus, Brutus, did my master bid me kneel. So the servant's on his knees. Thus did Mark Antony bid me fall down, and being prostrate, thus he bade me say, this is Antony's words, Brutus is noble, wise, valiant, and honest. Now, why would Antony send this servant and immediately have him start with complimenting Brutus? Duh, because he wants Brutus to be on his side. He wants Brutus to like or approve of Antony. Caesar was mighty, bold, royal, and loving. Say I love Brutus and I honor him. Say I feared Caesar, honored him, and loved him. If Brutus will vouchsafe that Antony may safely come to him and be resolved how Caesar hath deserved to lie in death, Mark Antony shall not love Caesar dead so well as Brutus living, but will follow the fortunes and affairs of noble Brutus, thorough the hazards and the untrod state with all truth faith. So says my master Antony. So let's go back. He says, if Brutus will vouchsafe that Antony may safely come. He goes, can Antony come to you, Brutus? Can Antony safely come to you right now? And find out, it says, find out how Caesar hath deserved to lie in death. Can Antony come to you safely and find out why Caesar deserved to die? And he says, Mark Antony shall love Caesar dead so well as Brutus living. If you give me a good reason, Brutus, I will love you as much as I loved Caesar. So Brutus says, thy master is wise and valiant Roman. I never thought him worse. Tell him so please come unto this place. He shall be satisfied and by my honor depart untouched. He can come here and on my honor, there's that word again, honor, why he makes the decisions that he does, he will leave here. He will be safe and he will leave here safely. The servant says, I'll fetch him presently, and the exits the servant. Brutus says, I know we shall have him well to friend. And Cassius is of a different opinion, which has happened multiple times since the beginning of the play. Cassius says, I wish we may, but yet I have a mind that fears him much, and my misgiving falls shrewdly to the purpose. So I'm going to pause here and do the second half in a second video.